The Assad regime having fallen, there is new hope to find and free an American journalist by the name of Austin Tice, who disappeared in Syria back in 2012, last seen on video weeks after he went missing, blindfolded and held by armed men. Syria has denied holding him, but President Biden says he believes that Tice not only was held, but he's still alive, although the government does not know, it says, exactly where he is. With us now is Bill McCarren. Bill's executive director of the National Press Club. Has been doing a lot of work to try to bring Tice home. We welcome you to the program. And, you had a post yourself, a tweet, I guess it was, over the weekend where you said, somewhere in Damascus tonight, Austin Tice's world's about to get much bigger and warmer and brighter all at once. That was Sunday. Now it's Tuesday. How do you feel? Do you feel like the next, I don't know, 24, 48 hours are important, or how do you see it?
Yeah, very important, Connell. And I was hopeful in that tweet that was we were getting to the conditions where that might happen, and we were pressing for that. His family wants that. It should be soon that we know something about Austin. There are an awful lot of prisons, as you know, in Damascus. Many of them are private and unmarked, and he's probably in one of those. And so it's a recovery operation right now.
So I saw, we've all seen video of people coming out of the prisons. I've also seen video of Western journalists pretty much driving into to Syria unchecked, no monitors really, like the military normally would be doing in the Assad years. So there seems to be freedom of movement. I don't know, lawlessness is the right way to describe it, but do you think if he was able to move around, somebody would have seen him by now, or?
Yes, I think he would be. I think whoever turns the door to open Austin's cell is either going to just let him walk free or try to help him. I think there's very little chance that someone who's letting prisoners out is going to wish him harm. And these groups that are now taking over in Syria, the Syrian opposition to Assad in many ways thought of Austin Tice as a hero. He was there writing about what was happening to them in what was then the greatest catastrophe since World War II in terms of human movement. Everybody was having to flee Syria, and he was writing about what was happening to them.
Now, the video evidence that we have, as I mentioned, that he's alive, is from years ago, right after he was captured. But I've seen his mom speaking. I referenced President Biden's comments that, the people should be in the know, think he's alive. Is the evidence strong? I mean, why do they think that?
Yeah, so we have, as you mentioned in the earlier segment with Ambassador Ford, he mentioned that we have 900 troops on the ground in Syria, and we have an awful lot of capability in Syria in terms of monitoring conversations and surveillance and things of that nature. So we know a lot about what's going on in Syria. What people are saying to each other, that sort of thing. And there's plenty of evidence within the United States government that Austin is alive, and in reasonable condition. So we had that confirmed just recently by another person who would know. So the president says that. We've independently confirmed it. I don't think there's any real question about it. It's just a question of, at this point, finding him before some of the chaotic things that are happening in there, could be problematic for him.
Of course, sooner the better. So reasonable condition, like able to walk around and that kind of thing. That's what what you think?
Yeah, we think so.
Right.
And if you've seen these videos of other prisoners, it's really interesting. I mean, the other day we saw in one city in Syria, a gentleman leave the prison who'd been in prison for 35 years.
Wow.
And, you see these people running down the street and they've been in for 10 years. I mean, I think he'll be fine and reasonably fine. You're never fine if you're that long in prison, but he should be ambulatory. He should be healthy. He should be able to get himself to help or get other people to help him.
Let's hope we hear soon. Thank you, Bill. Thanks for coming on. We'll follow this Austin Tice story from Syria. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.